I knew he was talking about me, calling me a homosexual and other words because I had opened my heart and said that I needed help. Now, when he gave that answer of, calling me gay and all these things, that's when I broke bad. That's when I said, I am not going to leave this place gracefully anymore. I wanted to. I tried. But now I have to do things the hard way and try to find a way to escape. When you enter into a group that is culty, that is toxic, you're expected not to speak up. You're expected to stay in line, and you're expected to support them for the rest of your life. And if you feel that you have a potential life outside, all of that gets crushed. All of that gets destroyed by the leadership who are constantly humiliating you, who are constantly punishing you, and who are constantly making you fear a life outside. Now, I wanted to share how it is that I, a member fully involved, how it is that I was able to break bad and leave the cult that I was in. And I wanted to share my story. So before we proceed, I wanted to give a strong spoiler alert. So I'm not that good tech wise, but just imagine real quick that the words spoiler alert are flashing on the screen. Um, but I'm not that good tech wise. I'm still learning. Oh well. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows, and that is Breaking Bad. Because the character, his name is Walter White, he starts off, when you meet him in the beginning, he is a total pushover. He's weak. He is a chemist teacher at high school, and he's barely making it through. He's barely able to provide for his family. And then he has a second job and he goes to the car wash to, scrub and to clean, and he's doing all of this work, and it reminded me so much of life in the religious life or the cult, because you really put all of your energy, you put all of your time, and every day there's humiliations or there's punishments, injustices, and you can't say anything with it. You have to go with the flow. You have to just go to work. You have to do your job and stay in line and stay quiet. But the thing about Breaking Bad, the show, is that something happens where he opens his eyes and he realizes that he doesn't have that much time left on this earth. And that's because, spoiler, he has cancer. And so he finds a way to use his brains, and he starts making drugs and he starts making money that way. So that's where, of course, our stories go in a different direction. But the point is, when you're in a cult, you're expected to stay in line, to stay in that one spot, obedient, just laboring for the leadership, making them look good all the time. And when people ask you, how are you doing? You're expected to say, I'm great. I'm doing so good, when it might be a complete lie. So in the show Breaking Bad, I think that his aha moment was when he found out that he was very sick. That's when he kind of woke up and started making big decisions in his life, and each decision had an effect. So it's really, cause and effect, and it just has that dominoes of things happening. And going back to my story and to the story of so many other people who have left cults, the members who are still there, we were trained to look at ex members as the most vile creatures on the planet. And I wanted to share with you now what it is that got me to say, I need to get the hell out of here. So, in the group that I was in, we were expected to take what is called a pledge of chastity, poverty, and obedience. And that was supposed to be 3 years. It's called a temporary profession. But because the group that I was in was culty, let's replace the word pledge with vow. And let's replace 3 years, let's replace that with till death do we part. So I remember, just to give more context to those of you who haven't been following my podcast, I before 2012, I had been in isolation for a year. Then it became a year and a half because I got in an argument with one of the sisters, and I just had enough. I was fed up, and I was starting to think, I don't think God wants me here. I didn't sign up for this crap, and I was getting pissed off. But at the same time, I'm just so programmed and trained to obey, because when you take these vows, what's most important to them is obedience to the letter to these cult like superiors. So I remember during the year 2012, the Bishop of Wilmington decided to kick us out, and with good reason. And I was so happy because I saw it coming. And so we're getting kicked out of the diocese. And I remember it was the end of my 3 years of my temporary profession. And I went to my superiors and I told them, look, everyone, I've had a good run. I'm ready to hang up my gloves. I'm ready to move on. My 3 years is about to expire in about 2 months, but hey, we're getting kicked out. And I want to make an exit. I want to start working on my exit. But what they told me was, your vows have not expired. You're still under obedience. So here, here are your tickets. Take your tickets and go to the Philippines. So I complained. I was starting to speak up, and I was like, look, I don't want to be here anymore. But there was no response. The only response is like, hey, look, you're still under obedience. Here's your ticket. You got to go. Because if you don't do it, then you're living a sinful life. So it's like, damn, all right, well, I go to the Philippines. And that's where shit hits the fan. But before shit hit the fan in the Philippines, actually, when I went there, I was under a superior who was he was okay. He was an okay guy, and I felt like I had been rescued from a crap superior in Dover, Delaware, when I was there. Because I mean, come on, putting a member in isolation in solitary confinement and lying about it, and then lying to my family, and then lying to me—that's a shit superior. So I go to the Philippines, and I'm under this new superior, and he's actually pretty cool. So I'm I'm okay, but of course I still want to leave. But they always tell you, "Oh, amigo, you need to pray more. You need to do more fasting, and you need to do more prayer and penance." And so it's like, all right, well, at least I'm not in such a hellish environment. And I was really enjoying it. And then I get a call from my brother. And the cool thing actually is that when I'm with this superior, I have no problem contacting my family. I'm not getting beaten up. I'm not getting humiliated. I'm not being monitored. It was open. I was able to speak with my family. And my brother had told me that he spoke with Father Bing. And I asked him, why did you talk to Father Bing? And he said, because last time we spoke with Father Jose, and Father Jose lied to us and said that you didn't want to go to the funeral of my grandmother, which is, I explained that in my last episode uh, about being forbidden to grieve. So, anyways, my brother said, instead of going to Father Jose or to any other superior, we just decided to go to the man in charge, who is Father Bing, to avoid confusion and to just go to the top. And so I asked him, okay, so what did y'all talk about? And he explained to me, look, I'm going to get married in Los Angeles, and the family, we want you to be there. And so I spoke to Father Bing and I said, hey, look, Father Bing, I know my brother is in the community, and I would really want him to go to my wedding. But I know that in this religious life, things can be a bit strict. So Father Bing told me, this is what my brother is saying. Father Bing told me, sure, no problem. Only thing is that he needs to come with one other person. And so my family agreed. They would pay a round trip ticket for me and another brother to go to Los Angeles and attend the wedding. So I go and talk to my superior in Cebu, where I was stationed, and I let him know, hey, look, my brother went to the top. He went to Father Bing, and this is the plan, that I'm going to go with another brother, and my family is going to pay for the round trip tickets. And so what happened there is that my superior said, well, if that's from Father Bing, then all right, let's get it done. So I get a ticket round trip and I go to Los Angeles. And I'm so happy because it's like, okay, I have a clear conscience. I'm not doing anything against obedience. I'm doing everything with permission. And then another little detail is that we did have a cell phone, me and the brother whom I was with. And I was in contact with another superior within the U.S. region, and I'm getting somewhere here. This superior who was in another community was saying, bro, I would really like it if you can stay here in the U.S. and help me on the mission for a little bit. And I said, I don't have any say. I just do what I'm told. I mean, because duh, I'm programmed to just obey, like a robot. And so he went to ask his best friend from the Sith sisters. I'm not going to mention her name. And this brother, this superior, then sent me a screenshot of their communication. And so he asked this person, this sister, this lady, hey, look, Ryan is here in the U.S. To go to his brother's wedding. He has permission from Father Bing, and I would like to request if he can just stay here in the U.S. for a little bit and help me in the missions. And what the text back were so it pissed me off so much. More than just pissed me off, it really broke me because it was saying he's lying. Father Bing never gave him permission. In our community, we're supposed to have detachment. His obedience is to leave right now and go back to the U.S. To go back to the Philippines. He has no right being there with his family. And I'm reading the screenshots of their communication, and my mind is just completely lost, and I felt completely broken because I know that my brother is not gonna lie. I know that Father Bing, many times he says one thing and then he changes it the next second. And I know that sometimes the Sith sisters will say, Father Bing said this, and they're full of crap because I know that they lie. They lie so much. And so my life was just, I felt like I was in the movie Vanilla Sky. I didn't know what was my reality. I didn't know what was happening. And then it said there that I'm lying, that I'm being deceitful. And so I was like, what are they talking about? And so me being so trained to be like a robot, I told my family, hey, can he pay my ticket to go back? And they're like, the wedding is in 2 days. We can't buy you a ticket. What are you talking about? And so I I suffered silently because at that moment I was thinking I'm breaking the rules. I'm I'm violating. I'm being a deceiver. I'm being evil. And so I was just so shaken up. And even at my brother's wedding when people wanted to talk to me, I was very like I was a prick. To some people, I'm like, get the hell away. Please get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. Because I was just so confused as to what was going on. Because I knew that Father Bing and that sister from the Sith were lying, that they were manipulating the truth. And I felt that Father Bing had set me up by saying, oh, yeah, Ryan can go to the wedding. No problem. It's all fine. Just make sure your family pays for a round trip for you and another brother. And we did that. And then to come and say that I'm being attached to my family, well, you know what? Let's talk. Let's talk real talk. Father Bing, he gets to see his family all the freaking time. The Sith sisters, those who are rich, you go to nice weddings, you go to visit your families, and I'm not mad at the members, but I'm pissed off at the leaders because you only care about those who have money. You can give a crap about those family members who have given up their child to serve the Lord, and yet they're not allowed to see their families. But the rich ones are allowed. And so they told me, oh, you can't see your family. You have to be detached. And in the text, it says, none of us give that, none of us have that, like special, what's that, permission or privilege. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell, man? Like, I've obeyed everything. I've done to the letter what I've been told. And yet here I am being told that I'm being disobedient. And so that was almost like an aha moment. But I just stayed quiet. I was really pissed off. I tried to enjoy the wedding, but I was just shaken up because I felt that I didn't belong there. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't. I felt like I was just chained to these people, kind of like, I don't know, but I felt that if I were if I'm going to leave, I wanted to do things the right way. But then I see that they're full of crap. They lie to the bishops, they lie to the families, they lie about the finances, they lie about their enthronements because they would say, "Oh, we're doing this and we're going to show the Vatican, blah blah blah." I don't believe it anymore because I know how much they lie. They use the contacts for to send out letters asking for money. Look at us, we need money. But it was just so confusing for me because I would see them as like holy people in the missions, but yet with their own members, they treated us so poorly. And I was just so, I felt so like a mind bend because I had given up so much for them. I had given up my life. I had given up my dreams, my ambitions. I had given up potential relationships to follow them, and yet they didn't take care of me. They lied to me. They deceived me. They took my family's money, saying that they would give it to help me and the community and to help my education, but Lord knows where that money would go. And so I finished my trip in Los Angeles and I went back to the Philippines. And right when I arrived, I was told by my superior, like, hey, look, I'm sorry, but I've been called by other superiors and they're saying that you've been deceitful, that you've been lying. And they're the ones who have made the decision that you're going to be in isolation for 1 week. You're going to be in prayer and penance, and you're going to be fasting on bread and water or on rice and water, whatever it was. And I was just so lost. It's like, why am I getting punished? I've been a good guy this whole time. I've been following the rules. I've been doing everything that I've been told to do, and I don't even want to be here. I want to maybe get married. I want to follow some kind of a lifestyle outside, but I was just so lost. And then the priest who was my superior there in Cebu was transferred. And now we got a new superior, and that's where things went chaotic. So at this point, my mental health is just going all over the place. And I'm trying to keep it together because you're expected to, or else I'm gonna be in isolation again. Nah, screw that. I don't want that. Or to be on fasting for some BS. And at this point, to put like more rocks on this mountain of crap, um, I kept getting these false accusations. Oh, Ryan here is flirting with girls, or oh, he's being gluttonous, or all this BS. And I'm like, it's not freaking true. And then I'm always getting in trouble. It's like, oh, amigo, you can't join these activities because you were flirting. I'm like, I wasn't flirting with anyone. I just, I mean, even now it's so hard to talk about because I tried my best when it came to chastity, poverty, and obedience. And they suffocated me, even though I didn't want to be there, even though I asked to leave. And they made me feel that this is God's will. You have no right to question what God wants. And if I were to ask, or if I were to say, well, I don't think this is God's will, then the answer would be, well, who are you to say what God's will is? We're the ones who tell you. And I would be like, well, I'm trying to discern. No, you've already discerned. This is where God wants you. So you need to shut up and obey. No, damn. So I get this new superior, and I'm getting all of these false accusations left and right. Oh, Brother Ryan is flirting, or Brother Ryan is being lazy, or he's taking money, all this BS. And to give a detail, my family would send money every 3 months. And with that money, every month or every 3 months, I would be allowed to pick up the money at Western Union. From there, I would go to the immigration office in downtown Cebu, and I would pay for my visa renewal. But because that takes all day, I would use some of that money, very little, like freaking $2 or $1, to buy me a cup of coffee, no sugar, no cream, just coffee, plain coffee, and I would buy, let's say, an apple pie. Apple pie, just because I needed something to eat, and because we have our fasting on bread and water. I mean, like, man, this is the closest I can get. I'm not going to eat a hamburger. Just that, just like $2, maybe less. I don't know. Prices are a lot different in the Philippines. And so I was trying to live my life of poverty, chastity, and obedience as best as I could. And then one day, one of the brothers, another from another community, from my same cult, sees me at McDonald's, and I see him, and he's eating a hamburger, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I made nothing of it. And I'm drinking my coffee, and oh well, I say goodbye, and I go on my way and go to the immigration and take care of the my visa, and then I come home, and then I surrender the rest of the money because you're not allowed to have any money. And so that's my routine. I get the money, I go have breakfast or lunch, go downtown, pay my visa, come back, and give the rest of the money, which would be like, I don't know, $100 or something, and surrender it to the superior. So one day we are on an outing, and we are with some supporters of my group, and we are at the beach, and I I'm just so lost. I feel out of it. I don't feel part of the community. And I remember one of the supporters, was like, "Hey, come and join us." And I'm trying to be so polite, but I'm scared because I've already been falsely accused of so much BS. And I'm afraid if they see me just sitting down, that I'm going to get in trouble somehow. And she's like, come on, join us. So I join her and her friends, and this is the outing that we've been invited to, and she's the sponsor. And I'm still scared. And she's there with her friends, and she has pizza, and she's like, come on, grab a slice, join us. And I'm afraid, but it's like, here's the mind bend, is that they tell you to be polite to people, to be respectful, but at the same time, I'm aware that if someone sees it the wrong way, they're just going to accuse me, and something bad is going to happen. I'm going to get some kind of a punishment. And so I hesitate, and I say, "What the heck?" I grab the pizza, a slice, not the whole thing. Come on, y'all. I grab a slice of pizza, and I start eating it. And right when I'm about to finish, I still have like the last piece. That bad superior, that new superior who was there, comes out of the water, out of the beach, and he sees me. And he looks at me and he's like, "Oh, very good, amigo." But I know that bastard is what he is. Forgive me. But anyways, I know that he looked at me with so much hatred and jealousy, and I was scared at that moment. But at the same time, having gone through so many years of crap, I was kind of ready to see what happened. I mean, I've been through so much bullying. I've been through so much negativity and humiliations. I was just like, whatever. Let's let's see what happens. And so I'm with the sponsors of our outing, and I'm just smiling and trying to enjoy. But inside, I'm terrified. So we go to the room where we're staying in the hotel. We have it's not really a hotel. It's a resort. I guess it's a hotel. I don't know. So we have this big room, and we have all places where we sleep on the floor or wherever. But at the same time, because we are religious, we have it set up like a chapel, and we're about to have mass. And we're about to have mass, and then this superior, he decides, okay, we're going to give lashes to the members, to some of the members, and you could tell that he was pissed off. And so, um, I remember, like, let's say 3 members, they had to get like 10 lashes, and the reason was because they didn't set up the liturgy right. And then, okay, these other members, they're gonna get lashes because of some stupid reason. And then he saved me for last, and last but not least, brother Ryan, you need to get your lashes too. And at this time, I did something that I had never done, which was speak up. And I said, "For what?" And his response was, "Because you were eating with the titas. You were you were eating pizza without permission." And I said, "What's wrong with that? They were the sponsors of this outing. Why can't I do that? You do that all the time. Why can't I do that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah? A brother said that he saw you the other day eating at McDonald's and drinking coffee with the money of the community. You're hex. You need to do reparation." And in my mind, I'm thinking, that son of a gun, that brother, because that brother, there were 2 of them. They were eating hamburgers and French fries, stuffing their face with soda, and yet they were accusing me. And so I didn't budge. And he said, "You need to come here and get your 40 lashes. And if you don't, you're going to be sent home, kind of like with not honorable, but like a dishonorable dispensation kind of thing, or dishonorable dismissal." And I was thinking about it. And my thoughts were, I've lived this life for 10, 11 years, and I don't want to just leave on a bad note. I've always said that I've wanted to leave gracefully. And here I get the opportunity to leave, but it will be kind of disgracefully. What do I do? And I remember he gave obedience to one of the brothers, and he told this brother, okay, I want you to give a countdown of 10 seconds. If he doesn't come here and get his beating, he gets dismissed from this community. So do a countdown. So that brother's doing the countdown, and I see in the faces of the members of that community shock. I see terror. I see fear. And I don't blame the members, because the members in this group were the most amazing people, are the most amazing people that I know, because they really were my brothers. It became like um, it became a family. And the leadership, screw the leadership, but the members, I saw their fear and terror, and so I went up there and to stop it all, and I took my beating. And what I remember is that afterwards, I felt so lost. I felt so out of place, because it's like, this is where God wants me to be. I can't question, but in my heart, I feel that I have a calling outside. I have a life waiting for me outside, but I have no idea what that life will be like, and I'm just so afraid. And so I take my beating, and I should have opened my eyes, but that wasn't enough to open my eyes. So after our trip to the beach, we go back to our community, and just so that you understand, this priest is our superior, our spiritual director, and confessor, which that is in itself a violation, because religious communities should not have the superior be the confessor or spiritual director. But hey, our community decided to take the cult avenue, and so I'm stuck on the mountain with this freak, with this jerk, and I'm expected to go to confession to him every day. That's the deal. You're supposed to go to confession every day. And I remember at the end of one of the confessions, I tell them, look, outside of confession, I tell them, look, I would really like to talk to you, and have some spiritual direction, because I really need it right now, because I'm really having, and he like cuts me off. Oh, I don't want to hear it. That is not my problem. You need to be stronger than that. Don't waste my time with these stupid small problems. I'm like, all right, okay, all right, fine. So I'm going around the community, because all that I can do is pray all day, pray, garden, I don't know, walk, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna write a letter, and I'm trying to be as genuine, as polite, as kind that I can be, and share with him that I'm struggling, that I don't want to be there, but I'm just following what they're saying is my obedience, because I'm still stuck to my vows. And so I write this letter, and I give it to him. The next day or a few days later, he decides in the homily sermon to speak about this letter. And he starts saying, the other day I received this letter from these brothers, and that's very homosexual. And he was saying, of course, homophobic slurs in Tagalog. And this is in mass, or it's right after mass, but hey, it's still in the church, and he's saying these ridiculous things calling me, he didn't say the name, but I knew he was talking about me, calling me a homosexual and other words because I had opened my heart and said that I needed help. Now, when he gave that answer of, calling me gay and all these things, that's when I broke bad. That's when I said, I am not going to leave this place gracefully anymore. I wanted to. I tried. But now I have to do things the hard way and try to find a way to escape. And so after that, I was sent to another community and I was so broken. I was so angry. And when I got to this community, it was divided. It was divided between those who cared and those who were culty. And I saw that the culty members didn't really give a shit about me. All that mattered is you're bringing in the money, very good. You come here for prayers. You're around. That's good. But I would leave and I would take off my clerical. And my thinking is, well, why the hell am I wearing a clerical? Why am I dressing like a priest if my vows are finished? If they're keeping me without my consent, they're keeping me, but I'm just so brainwashed. I was so, I guess you can say, programmed to fear them. So my way of leaving was by violating the evangelical councils. However, I wasn't even any more attached to the evangelical councils. So part of me was like, I want to go date. I want to go to school. I want to live life. And so I started doing that. And so I started going out and talking to people. And then when I came back, I remember telling the priest in charge, hey, look, I'm ready to leave. And he said, no, you can't leave. And I told him, look, I've been breaking the chastity, poverty, and obedience. And he tells me, oh yeah, we can't keep someone like you here. Yeah, you gotta go. And so that had me thinking for so many years, had me feeling that I had broken my vows to Christ. And that was for me the most painful thing. But just a few days ago, I spoke with a friend who was also in the community, and I brought this problem to him. And I said, my biggest brokenness is that the way I broke bad, I had to break bad so I can escape that place, so that I can be seen as evil, so that I can be kicked out. And I told him I had to violate my chastity, poverty, and obedience. And he told me something that I'm never going to forget. And he said, you didn't violate your chastity, poverty, and obedience. And I asked him, well, why do you say that? And he said, well, because, as you said, you wanted to leave years before. You wanted to leave. You should have been allowed to leave. Your vows had already expired. And they kept you even though they had no right to keep you. So no, you didn't violate your vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. You were already free, but they kept you prisoner. And so hearing that has given me some healing. And I know in many other cults, in all cults, there's similarities, but there's also differences. And I just wanted to share my story because people say I shouldn't talk about it, that it should be hush hush. But while victims of this kind of abuse stay hush hush, there's a history that's being transferred from generation to generation. And that will be that this community is very good and that they're all holy, but that's not the true story. And I feel that victims, it's okay to speak up. And who cares if the history of this community ends up looking bad? Because I've protected them for so long. And I've said, oh yes, Father Bing and all of them, they're all good people. They're holy, they're exorcists. Oh my God, so holy. But deep inside, I was lying. but I was taking care of them. I was making it look like I was protecting their face. But as members, as ex members, we forget to protect our own face. And so that's why I wanted to give my narrative. And that's why I needed to come out and share this truth. Because, I mean, not my story isn't everyone's story. But I feel that if maybe it's given some kind of a clarity or understanding to someone else, or maybe someone feels guilty. Um, hey, I felt guilty for the longest time. And hearing those words from my friend, those true words that, hey, look, I did do my time, I did do my vows, but at that time that I broke bad, I wasn't even in violation. And yet they gave me this guilt trip, and they said, even though they knew that my vows were already, the time was up, they were saying, oh yeah, we can't keep someone like you who, violates their vows. And that's a entry point for the devil and infestation. And, us, we can't have that here. So I'm going to end it there. But I just want you to understand what my mindset was, what my heart was feeling. And now, you know what I feel doing the podcast, doing YouTube. And I do have a job and I love it. I work at a assisted living, and get this, it's for priests, for good priests, I hope. But I feel that right now my mind and heart are united, and I feel this energy that I never had before. And I hope that ex-members of any cult, in any abusive, toxic relationship, if you've are out and you feel like your mind and heart aren't together, I hope that you find a way to unite your mind and heart, and that you too may have energy to do something amazing with your life. And like me, I was always guilty, depressed, feeling miserable. And now that I'm doing the podcast and YouTube, wow, I don't know, but I feel so much happier. I feel like I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. And so I hope you find your way if you're an ex member of a cult. And if you do feel guilty, I hope you're able to work through those feelings, and you're able to get to a place where you no longer hate yourself. Because I hated myself for the longest time due to the fact that I was trained to. But now I'm unwiring that programming, and I'm feeling a lot better now. So thank you for listening. This is Ryan Anthony Hernandez from the Truth at Heels podcast. Stay tuned because I have many more episodes coming up, and I hope you can stay for the ride. Love you all. Peace out.